The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
Afternoon, everyone.
Any injuries firstly from Saturday?
Wayne Routledge reported with a bit of tightness today. We're going to see how he gets through treatment, see if he can train tomorrow and be available for the game on Wednesday. Everybody else is okay.
How was your post-match pint with the co-owner?
Yeah, it was. I just popped up to the boardroom afterwards, which I do every game. I do that whether we win or lose. So went up there, and obviously there was a lot more smiling faces than there have been recently. So I enjoyed a quick drink and then headed back down to my office to have a chat with Alan Pardew and his staff, which is normal as well after a game. So it was good.
Did you have a chat with Jason Levin at all?
Just briefly about things that had happened in the game, and Chairman was there as well, Hugh Jenkins. Just normal sort of chat about how we'd done in the game and nothing more than that.
And in terms of the buzz, the feel around the club, did you sense a difference because of Saturday, Paul?
Yeah, there's always a difference when you get a result. We didn't come into work yesterday. The players had a free day, but we were back in today, and you get that sense straight away that it's a more upbeat environment. That's normal especially when you've been on a poor run and you get that result you so badly want. So there was a good atmosphere here today.
I'm assuming you watched the United-Man City game yesterday. What do you make of it? What do you make of what's coming towards you on Wednesday?
Well, first of all, I enjoyed the day very much yesterday. First of all, knowing that we had got a much-needed result, but also to be able to sit down and watch both those games. The Liverpool derby first of all, and then the Manchester derby. Intrigued by both the games. Obviously, after we play Manchester City, we play Everton, so I was very keen to see that game. And then, really enjoyed the Man United-Man City game for lots of different reasons. I thought Man City were excellent and absolutely deserved to win. They deserve to be top of the table based on their form and obviously their results as well. We've got a big test on Wednesday.
How big a test? Is this a step up from the other big clubs that you played this season?
Yeah, I think we are playing without question the best team in the league at this point. They've showed that. They're showing that they can win in lots of different ways. They can go to difficult places. They can grind out results against teams lower down in the table. You see just recently before that game yesterday, I thought it was a comfortable victory, even though the margin of the scoreline was close. But recently, Huddersfield, West Ham against Southampton, they've had to really dig in, and in all those games they had, winning goals in the last 5-6 minutes. So, they are a team in a lot of form. They are, I believe, the best team in the Premier League at the moment. But let's see what happens on Wednesday. They would have had to put a lot of physical and mental energy into that Manchester derby. We got the one-day advantage. We're the team at home. We've just come off the back end of a win. Of course, we expect a very difficult game, but we're going to make sure that we give them a difficult game.
They've got a run of 4 games, I think, including yesterday, in 10 days. Do you expect them maybe to rest 1 or 2 players?
I think we'll see some changes. I don't see many. I think Aguero coming in the team would be an obvious one, but whether it's him or Jesus, there's not a lot of difference. There's such high quality players.
Are they simply the best team in the league now, or are they something more than that? Are they in some way exceptional?
Yeah, I think the style that Pep has brought to the club, he couldn't get it in place as quick as he would have liked last season, but you can really see now that his imprint is absolutely on this team, and it's very similar to the way he had, Barcelona playing. They dominate with possession. They have a lot of attacking players on the field that can create and score goals. They press really aggressively when they lose the ball, win it high up the pitch. Very, very similar characteristics to the great team he had at Barcelona.
You mentioned the clubs that have frustrated them recently. How do you do more than that? How do you beat them?
Well, I think to beat them, number one, you have to be absolutely spot on with your defending. And I remember when we went to the Etihad Stadium last season, we were under a lot of pressure in the first half, but we managed to come in at half-time having only gone 1 goal behind, and it could have been a lot more. But we played a lot better in the second half and actually played a bit higher up the field and got some more numbers forward. And our pressurising was a lot better, and we gradually got back into the game. Gylfi scored a great goal, I think about 80 minutes, and then we were really hanging on to try and get the draw, but it was very close. Jesus scored, I think, 92, 93 minutes, and we were very, very close to getting a very valuable point. We're going to have to defend very well. We know we're not going to have as much as the ball as them, but can we create a couple of opportunities in the game and make them count?
Managers don't like the expression a free hit, but the expectation will be that you'll be unable to do what everybody else has done, and not turn frustration into a victory. Is that how you see it? Is it a free hit?
Yeah, we're the underdogs, no question about it. But there's been examples of teams in the past that have been in that situation and got a positive result, and that's what we're going to be trying to do. We're going to make it as hard as we possibly can.
Have you spoken to Wilfred Boney about this fixture, and particularly his time under Pep at Man City?
I asked him if he wanted a rest from Wednesday's game. You can imagine the reaction that I got. Similar to when we played Stoke recently, he was desperate to play and do well, and he's a similar situation for him against Manchester City.
But you haven't tapped into anything he might be able to give you?
I always talk to the players that have been at clubs recently about different things, and I have done since Wilfred got here, not necessarily for this game. I think it's very clear about the way that Manchester City play, and they're on the television so often and you get to see them a lot.
How would you assess his level of motivation for this particular fixture?
11 out of 10, I would say. High.
Because of what? Because he felt he has something to prove?
Yeah, I think he's in that part of his career, because when he left here he'd done so well, and he went to Man City and didn't get to the level he would have liked. Same at Stoke. So he's got a point to prove to lots of people.
And in terms of his form for you at the moment, you must be very pleased. The last 2 games, it looks as if the old Wilfred Boney is coming back.
Yeah, I think step by step you can see he's getting fitter, sharper, and now the goals are starting to come as well. Fantastic finish early on in the game against Stoke, really top class, striker's goal, and what a big moment to score in the game on Saturday. The stage that the game was at, the pressure that was on us to get the result. I mean, it was absolutely clinical, the finish. It came at a really big moment of the game.
Just to go back to yesterday's game, there was this altercation that took place, we know now, in the dressing room area, in the corridor afterwards. I'm not going to ask you about the specifics of that, but in general, what is the appropriate way to celebrate a big victory away from home?
Well, that has got particular significance, hasn't it, that game, because it's a Manchester derby, and they've been ferociously fought over many years, and similar to the Liverpool derby as well. It's got that extra significance on the game, so emotions run high. My own view on it is that when you're away from home, you should celebrate in an appropriate manner with your supporters. You don't necessarily want to antagonise the home support, and then make your way back to the dressing room and enjoy it as a team.
Is it a case then of you can actually rub people up the wrong way by shoving it in their face when you do win away from them? That can happen.
Yeah.
It happened to you as a manager.
Absolutely.
You felt like on the receiving end.
No, not. I don't. I can't remember any specific example where I felt a way, a manager or players have rubbed me or the team I've been working with up the wrong way. It does happen. You want to try and avoid it because you're going to start potentially unnecessary confrontation and conflict. I don't know the specifics of that particular game, but obviously they were very, very happy that they'd gone to Old Trafford, played so well and got a result, and they're in a brilliant position.
You've got extra supplies of milk in?
Yeah, I'm not sure where the milk came from, and it was if that was the case, in the tunnel. It's not normally a lot of milk going round in our tunnel, I know that.
Just on a wider front, Paul, Champions League draw.
Yeah.
Some great fixtures in there, particularly for your old club, Real Madrid. Do you still fancy them? You did earlier in the season. Or do you fancy maybe some of the others because of those pairings?
Well, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, two clubs that I worked at, so be very interested to see how that works out. Two of the favourites, I think, as well. Real Madrid, just their dominance in that competition the last 3 or 4 years. Paris Saint-Germain emerging now as a really, really strong side. I know they didn't finish the group off as maybe they would have liked against Bayern, but at that stage they were sailing through. But that's a difficult. I'm sure those two teams wouldn't have particularly wanted to reach each other at this stage. So, that's a standout game. I think Chelsea-Barcelona as well, really, really interesting one. Man City, I think Liverpool, Man United got favourable ties. They're all going to be difficult at this stage of the competition, and Tottenham's one's very difficult as well. So lots of interesting ties in the last 16.
And just lastly, a bit of transfer bingo. I know you'd be disappointed if we didn't.
Oh no, really? Okay. Shall I just say no comment before you even ask the question?
Well, let me get it out there.
Okay.
Vincent Aboubakar, is he a player you're interested in?
No comment.
Paul, did you sleep well Saturday and then maybe lost a bit of sleep having watched Man City yesterday?
Yeah, it's it's been a frustrating time. I said in the press conference after the game that the way I celebrated the goal was, I think, more than just getting that goal at that point, but also a release of a lot of frustration I've had building up over the last few weeks, very similar to how the players have felt. So, we really needed to win that game. That being one of 4 going into the Christmas period. We know we're on 12 now. It's the same as the halfway point at last season. We've got 3 games to go. Now let's see what we can get to before we turn into the 20th game of the season.
You say Man City are the best, and the league table never lies as far as that goes. Are they the champions elect? Can everybody catch them?
Not if they continue to play the way they are. 11 points clear. It's still a very early stage of the season, but if they continue to play like they are, I think it'll be very difficult. But lots of games to go. Can they maintain that level of consistency? Can they continue to score 86, 87, 95, 96th minute winners? Because in those situations the margins are very, very, very tight, and that can swing the other way. Main thing is that when they come here on Wednesday, and we'll have an opportunity to go there as well, we just make it as difficult as we can for them.
You've taken on Pep's sides in other leagues as well. Is it the most testing from a coaching point of view, would you say, given the way they play and their fluidity and their movement? How do you assess it as a coach, the sort of examination that it puts to you and your team?
Yeah, it does, because it really tests your concentration. You saw yesterday in the first half of the game, I don't know what the statistic was over the whole game, but in the first half of the game I think they had 75% of the ball. That's going to Old Trafford and having 75% of the ball. So, we know we're going to have significant periods of the game on Wednesday when we don't have the ball. And, that can be a frustration. Frustration for our players, frustration for me, frustration for our fans. But we have to accept that that's more than likely going to happen. We've showed in previous games this season, and I go back particularly to the Tottenham game, is that we have shown that we can defend for long, long periods. keeping good concentration, keeping our positions, and frustrate a team. Now, I'm not saying here we're just going to turn up and try and defend for 90 minutes. We've still got to try and carve out some opportunities. We've still got to try and take the ball and try and produce some offensive moves that gets us up close to their penalty area. Maybe some of those situations will be through counter-attacks, maybe some through set plays, but we still want to try and create some opportunities as well.
As you say, when a side can go to Old Trafford and get 70-80% of possession, it is frustrating all round. And at the Liberty, you're talking about a crowd who've been brought up in some ways the last 10-15 years on having the vast majority of the possession. So is it crowd have to be patient as well, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they will be. I think, you know, they're fans that are watching other teams play, and they're seeing, you know, what Man City are doing at the moment. So, you know, I don't expect them to be getting on our back if Man City have got more of the ball than us.
What went wrong at Man City for Wilfred Bonner, would you say?
Well, he'd probably best asking him that question. But you know, all I could probably say, he's a very good player. But you're going into a totally different, you know, category of club there, and you know, the level of the talent just puts the competition through the roof. And when you have that kind of competition, there's some players that are going to play more than others. And you know, he was one that didn't play as much as he would have liked.
And Stoke, I mean, do you now feel you've got something out of him now? Is he now showing why you signed him?
Yeah, definitely moving in the right direction. His overall fitness is miles better than when he arrived. He's playing well with his back to goal, allowing us to move up the pitch when he's getting hold of it, and he's, you know, scored a couple of goals, so definitely moving in the right direction. And
Tammy Abraham, how upset was he with the last minute, sort of the injury time? I won't say miss, but it was a miss when maybe a little tap to the side, it could have been two, and he would look even more comfortable. Is that just experience, you know?
I'm not sure. He wasn't as upset as me. I think, you know, Tammy's young and he's learning. I think he had the best interests in mind there. He's made that opportunity for himself, broke through. He made a choice of how to score the goal. I'm not sure if he knew that Luciano was right up alongside him, just to his right. And you know, in hindsight, may have been a better decision. If he doesn't score, probably the better decision is to just slide it to the right and put it in. You know, he's young and learning. I think if you look back at yesterday's game, there's a big moment in that where, you know, Liverpool leading the game. Mane has a fantastic opportunity first for himself, but then I think there were two or three of us lining up to just tap in a square ball if he'd made that choice, and that game would have been finished. But he made the wrong choice because he didn't score. Everton get, you know, a penalty out of nothing because they hadn't threatened at all, and you know, there's 2 points gone. So you know, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. That was a slightly different situation because it was so late in the game. I think there was only maybe 30 seconds left after that, a minute tops. But you still never know in football. All it takes is, you know, one punt up the pitch, comes off the centre half's head, and all of a sudden you've conceded, and wouldn't have needed to have been the case. So a little learning experience there.
Federico Fernandez, he's back, obviously he was on the bench. Is he ready for a recall on Wednesday, would you say? Well,
he's fit and available, and I have to consider what I'm going to do first of all with the shape of the team, whether I decide to bring in another defender. We have played, you know, 3-5-2 at certain points during this season. If I don't and go with the back four again, then I have to see if I want to continue with the partnership that's, you know, was in the winning team at the weekend and had a clean sheet, or whether I put him back in there. It's something I'm considering.
That's the other choice, though.
No, it is good. And also Kyle Bartley back now. You know, training well. You know, he's going to need to get up to a good level of fitness now, and we'll probably have a game in the under-23s before he's in consideration for first team action. But you know, 4 centre halves are training now.
With the games coming thick and fast now, you will have to make the most of your squad. So is that an encouragement for someone like Renato Sanchez, who hasn't been in the picture?
Well, I think one of the issues that I've had from the start of the season up until now is that I have used a lot of the squad, and we haven't found any real consistency in team selection and performances and results. So, I'm keen sooner rather than later to get a settled team. But a settled team needs to be performing well and needs to be getting points. But yes, we are coming into a very busy period. Particularly when you play and then you play again after 2 days, it's important to freshen it up in a couple of areas. So all the squad need to be ready and need to be ready to contribute.
Hi, Paul. Just wondering how motivated Wilfred Bowling is at the moment, not just by the fact he's facing one of his old clubs again, and I think he scored 4 in 3 games against one of his former clubs, but also by the captaincy in the last 2 games.
Yeah, he's embraced it, as you will know. After Leon Britton moved into a player coach role, he relinquished the club captaincy, and we gave that to Angel Rangel. He's been at the club a long time. He's a great ambassador for what we need. But he's not a regular in the team at the moment. So Federico Fernandez had the armband until he went back to Argentina. For family situation. So Wilfred has stepped in, and been the first time he did it. I was surprised, to be honest. I hadn't asked him, or I hadn't asked anyone, has Wilfred been a captain before? I just saw those qualities in him, and he really stepped up to the mark. Said some great words in the dressing room before the game against West Brom, and he's led by example on the pitch as well. So very pleased that he's taken that on very positively.
It's part of your job before Wednesday's game reminding your players that Man City's team is still human and they can still be beaten. It is 11 against 11.
Yeah, of course. We've already chatted about a couple of things this morning, particularly some of the fine margins that they've got over the line in the last games. Not they totally deserved to win yesterday, but against Southampton, Huddersfield, and West Ham, tight wins, late wins. So there are teams that are pushing them, and that's what we're going to need to do on Wednesday. Push them close, work them hard. It won't be an easy ride for them.
If you were to win, I know Burnley went to Chelsea on the opening day and beat the champions, but would this be the biggest shock of the season in the Premier League?
Well, it's the top team against, at the moment, the team that earned second bottom, so it would be a surprise result, but that's not something we're focusing on. Result. It's about what can we do to get a good performance, defending, attacking, and all the aspects of the game. We've had that extra day recovery than them, so we'll be fresh going into the game, and we'll be motivated as well.